Chosen one. The bank found something. They need to call you. Something sacred has entered the atmosphere, and you're being pulled into it whether you realize it or not. There's a movement in the spiritual and financial realms happening right now. This is not a mistake. This is not a random event. The bank didn't just find something by accident. They were led to it. They uncovered something with your name on it, something that was never meant to be lost, but it was kept sealed for a specific moment. And this moment is now. Watch this video until the very end. This isn't just a video, it's a spiritual alert. And write your warmest wishes in the comments and write Amen along with the number 777. That simple act of faith is part of what activates a divine energy in the universe. When we come into agreement with truth, the heavens lean closer. This chapter is about wishes becoming reality, about the turning point that ignites manifestation. So release your best energy, your best hopes, and feel the atmosphere shift as you do. Now, chosen one, like this video, subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the channel, and let's begin. The system wasn't designed to catch this, but God was. The systems of man were never equipped to process spiritual timing. That's why for so long it seemed like things were locked, inaccessible, even erased. But heaven doesn't forget, and God doesn't misplace. What was meant for you has been protected, even if it looked hidden. And in this divine hour, something has been found. A divine trigger was pulled. The seal that covered your file was lifted. Your name came up in the room where decisions are made, and not just in the spiritual realm, but in a physical one. The bank was prompted. Their system pinged something that had been marked dormant, inactive, or in review. But it was never truly lost. It was simply waiting for divine authorization. They found something. Something with numbers. Something with history. Something with value. But beyond that, they found your access point. That's what this is about. The call they are preparing to make is not about confusion. It's about clarity. They aren't reaching out to question. They're reaching out to confirm. You're the one they've been trying to locate. There's an urgency in this, because a release is involved. A release of what was withheld. A release of what was stored. A release of what had been held in a space that couldn't move until God said go. And that moment has arrived. You've likely felt the pressure building, the moments of spiritual restlessness, the dreams that felt louder, the nudges that didn't leave, the sudden surges of intuition that made you pause and listen. All of that was a sign. It was never just about the money. It was about the unlocking of spiritual territory that the enemy couldn't block forever. You've stepped into that moment. The reason they need to call you is because heaven already did. And now the natural realm is catching up to what's already been declared in the supernatural. There are hidden places that are opening up. Folders buried deep inside systems. Files that were coded, locked, and unavailable. Yet now, their encryption is breaking open. It's not by man's hand. It's by divine movement. When God moves, even technology listens. The alerts begin. The screens light up. Someone in a financial office somewhere stumbles upon a record that doesn't make sense until they see your name. And when they do, everything changes. You are not chasing something. Something is chasing you. That's why your name is being whispered in rooms you've never entered. That's why your email is being flagged for immediate contact. That's why your phone may ring soon. And when it does, it won't be just another call. It'll be the sign that what was prepared for you is now being routed to you. That's not luck. That's not coincidence. That's divine flow. God is authoring this story, and this chapter is called Discovery and Release. Listen closely. There is data on you that was marked awaiting verification. For years you felt overlooked, like your blessings were postponed or sent to the wrong address. But spiritually, nothing missed you. The delay wasn't denial, it was divine protection. Had it arrived before you were aligned, it would have been dangerous. But now, you're in sync with what God has prepared. You're in alignment with the breakthrough that matches your preparation. It's not just about financial gain, it's about prophetic fulfillment. What was found in that bank system has been traced back to a promise made over your life. A promise you may have forgotten, a word spoken in silence. A confirmation whispered to your spirit when you were alone, wondering if God still remembered. And now, here comes the evidence. Not from a prophet, not from a dream, but from a bank, from a system, from a verified institution that is about to confirm something heaven already certified. They're calling you not because of you, but because of what's on you. They need to speak to the carrier of a divine assignment, the holder of a code that cannot be transferred to anyone else. The wealth, the instruction, the opportunity that was discovered has a spiritual lock, and only your voice can open it. Only your agreement can authorize it. This is not just money, it's movement, it's access, it's restoration. It's God saying, now. This discovery isn't random. It's the result of a chain reaction that began in the spiritual realm weeks, months, even years ago. You may not have seen the cause, but the effect is undeniable. Something big is happening around your name. And the moment they found it, the urgency to call you began. There are divine fingerprints all over this. And now that this energy has entered your life, it will not stop until it fulfills what it was sent to do. You're going to hear something, whether it's through a message, a notification, a call, or a conversation. You're going to be brought into awareness, because this moment requires your attention. God isn't subtle anymore. This is loud. This is direct. This is real. The financial system is aligning with your spiritual system. The earthly channels are opening in response to heavenly order. Something hidden for a long time is now active. Your part? Stay tuned. The call is coming. And when it does, it will carry the tone of heaven. Chosen one, everything has been building toward this. You weren't supposed to know this until now. It was all timed with precision. God allowed this delay for a reason you couldn't yet see. There are things about your life that were placed under protection, not restriction. What was found in that vault, in that file, in that flagged entry, was not just financial information. It was a divine reminder embedded inside an earthly system. And now, the time has come to open the vault, not with keys made of metal, but with the key of divine timing. The bank's discovery is God's signal. You must understand, the discovery wasn't just about a transaction, it's about a transition of your life from waiting to receiving. You've been standing at the doorway long enough, and now the lock clicks, the door opens, and you walk into what was promised. This moment doesn't belong to doubt, it belongs to divine certainty. You may have cried about what was lost, but you are about to laugh about what was found. And this laughter will carry healing. It will carry proof. It will carry the sound of fulfillment. Inside that system, behind that desk, someone is handling something holy without even knowing it. What they found is not ordinary paperwork. It's a trail that leads to your destiny. And while they may see numbers, files, or flags, what heaven sees is alignment, obedience, and the signature of God stamped across your breakthrough. The realm of man is now working in agreement with the realm of God. And when those two worlds collide, miracles erupt. There's no hiding this anymore. The delay is broken. The restriction is canceled. The record is open. God has declared this your season of divine uncovering. You've waited long enough for them to recognize your value. You've waited through silence, through uncertainty, through systems that overlooked you. But now, your presence can no longer be denied. What they found can no longer be unseen. The moment they opened that file, they opened a floodgate. You are the name attached to a prophetic release. And that's why the bank can't hold this any longer. Even if they tried, the pressure would keep building. Because once heaven releases a thing, it must flow. Once God authorizes the shift, no human hand can delay it. No supervisor, no system, no rule book can override what's been divinely initiated. You are not waiting for permission anymore. You're walking in power. And the call they are preparing to make is only the beginning. Let's go deeper. This discovery is also unlocking something you forgot you prayed for. A request that felt like it was ignored, but it wasn't. It was planted. And now the roots have grown deep. Now the harvest is pushing through. You asked God to prove He didn't forget you. This is that proof. Not in theory, but in action. In notification. In documentation. This is not imaginary. It's being handled, checked, rechecked, and sent. They're reviewing the information with urgency because something about your file doesn't look like the others. It carries something unusual, a divine spark, a peculiar pattern. The numbers don't lie, and the codes don't glitch. This is real. The call is going to come from someone who doesn't even know they're being used by God, but their voice will carry the confirmation. Their words will deliver the access, and you will know in that moment. This was all part of the plan. Chosen one, the winds have changed. This isn't the season where you knock and wait. This is the season where you are invited in. You're being ushered into a room that has always had a seat with your name on it. But now, the light is shining on that seat. And you are being directed to it. Not by force, but by favor. The same favor that made your name stick out in a list of thousands. The same favor that pulled your information to the top of a long queue. The same favor that made the system pause when your data appeared. There are divine fingerprints on the page. The person handling your case may sense it. There's something different about this one. Something they can't explain. They'll feel a shift in the atmosphere. They'll find themselves checking over and over again to make sure it's real. It is. They'll feel an urgency to contact you. Not because of protocol, but because something in their spirit is stirring. They don't know why, but you do. Because you've been waiting for this your whole life. Not just for the funds, but for the recognition that heaven sees you. You've walked through so many closed doors. You forgot how it feels when one opens without force. But this one is opening softly, powerfully, silently, and all at once. You don't need to chase anymore. You don't need to explain. You don't need to push. This time, it's being delivered to you. This time, the system calls you. This time, the opportunity finds you. They found something, but more importantly, they found you. There is a weight to this moment, because what's coming through this discovery will not only bless you, it will unlock others. There are people tied to your obedience. There are lives connected to your yes. The blessing being released is not just for your bank, it's for your lineage. It's for the legacy God is building through you. The favor is generational. The discovery is personal. The wealth is strategic. God is moving like this because what's next requires resources, and God funds what He favors. This is not charity. This is divine clarity. What they found was not a mistake. It was a miracle. And that miracle is alive. It's breathing. It's activating systems to move. It's prompting voices to speak. It's unlocking timing to flow. You are being reintroduced to a version of yourself that carries evidence. Evidence that you are not forgotten. Evidence that the prophecy is real. Evidence that when God decides, no power can delay it. And when you answer that call, you're not just picking up the phone. You're answering heaven's confirmation. The moment they say your name, it will feel different. It won't be routine. It won't be administrative. It will carry the vibration of destiny. It will be the voice you didn't know you were waiting to hear, saying, "We found something, and it belongs to you." They're not calling everyone. They're calling you. Because what was found can't be released to just anyone. was preserved with your name encrypted into the structure of its being. The alert was never meant to reach a crowd. It was meant for one. The system flagged it. The banker noticed it. But heaven orchestrated it. You are stepping into a moment that has no duplicates, no alternatives, no substitutions. The access code cannot be used by someone else. You are the rightful receiver. And when they contact you, something in the tone of their voice will confirm what your spirit already knows. The heavens have spoken, and your life has shifted. This isn't about random blessings anymore. This is about the fulfillment of divine design. Every minute that passed without movement wasn't wasted. It was alignment, calibration, preparation. Because what's being released is too weighty to arrive out of order. And now, everything is in order. Chosen one, this is not just a phone call. It's a prophetic turning point. You're not simply answering a message. You're stepping into divine motion. The discovery that triggered this moment has been sealed for years, maybe decades. It was withheld because the environment wasn't ready. But now, everything is echoing your readiness. Your energy has matured, your faith has expanded, and your name is vibrating at a frequency that heaven cannot ignore. There's a reason you've felt sudden shifts lately. Random waves of peace. Unexpected moments of stillness. It wasn't emptiness. It was spiritual clearing. Space was being made. Old burdens were being lifted. Invisible blocks were being dissolved. Because what's coming in cannot share space with what was sent to drain you. That's why certain connections have faded. That's why some opportunities slipped through. They weren't rejections. They were redirections. All of it led to this moment, this discovery, this alignment. The person who found it doesn't know the whole story. They're only seeing fragments, numbers, documents, historical traces. But you carry the fullness. You lived the waiting. You endured the silence. You walked through the shadows of delay while holding on to a promise only your soul could feel. And now, the invisible becomes visible. The abstract becomes actual. The delay becomes a doorway. They're going to say words like, "We didn't realize," or "This has been here for a while," or "We're not sure how this was missed." But don't be confused. This wasn't missed. It was guarded. Heaven knew exactly where it was. God didn't forget. What man sees as an error, God reveals as strategy. The confusion in the natural realm is confirmation of orchestration in the spiritual. You're walking into a scene that has already been set. The room where the decision was made has your name woven into the conversation. And even though your physical body wasn't there, your spiritual signature was. The call was birthed from that space, from that meeting, from that moment where God said, "Now." It didn't matter how long the file sat untouched. When the time was right, it rose. And now, here you are, on the edge of a call that is about more than contact. It's about confirmation. It's confirmation that your pain wasn't for nothing, that your prayers weren't ignored, that your inner knowing wasn't crazy. It's confirmation that you are aligned with something holy, something precious, something rare, something only the chosen experience. You are stepping into divine proof. Proof that there is order in the unseen. Proof that your obedience was not invisible. Proof that your name was being whispered in higher places while you were still in the valley. The bank may use words like account or amount or data, but heaven is calling it a restoration. This is about restoring what was paused, restoring what was interrupted, restoring what was once lost in a maze of delays and diversions. The system tried to bury it under stacks of forgotten entries, but God never lost track. And now, what they found is rising. It's calling for you, because you are the only one with the spiritual signature to claim it. And when the moment comes, when the call reaches your ears, don't be surprised if time feels like it slows down. That's not your imagination. That's the divine syncing up with the now. That's the atmosphere responding to heaven's will. Everything pauses to make space for your moment. You've entered divine rhythm. And in this rhythm, blessings flow without resistance. Chosen one, this discovery is the first wave. There's more behind it. This call is not the end. It's the beginning. It's the first ripple of a larger movement. Once this initiates, other systems will begin to align. Other areas of your life will start to respond. Finances, housing, relationships, opportunities. It's all connected. And this discovery was the code that unlocked the rest. This is the moment the lock breaks. This is the moment the vault opens. This is the moment where destiny becomes visible. And though the person on the other end of the line may think they're just doing their job, you will know that you are witnessing a miracle in motion. You'll feel it in your bones. You'll recognize the tone of heaven buried inside the voice of a human being. You'll understand that this wasn't business. It was personal. It was prophecy. You've arrived at the place where what was spoken becomes what is seen. They found it. They're calling. You are being positioned to receive, and nothing can stop it now. There's a moment right before it all happens, when your spirit knows before your mind does. And, chosen one, you're in that moment now. You've felt it building, something invisible pressing on the edge of your reality, something pulling you out of the old timeline and into something utterly divine. This isn't imagination. This is spiritual intelligence. Something sacred has crossed from unseen to seen, and your name is written on the envelope that just opened in their system. They don't even know how it slipped through the cracks for this long. But you do. Because the truth is, it never slipped. It was placed, hidden in plain sight, protected in silence. It didn't get lost. It was hidden for such a time as this. And now, the seal has been broken. It may look like just a bank update on the surface. It may sound like another generic customer call. But beneath the words and behind the technology, something bigger is breathing. This moment carries a weight, a shift, an ignition. It's a moment God hand-selected to change the pace of your entire journey. The breakthrough that's been chasing you finally caught up. You've been living in limitation long enough. You've walked through waiting seasons where it felt like nothing was moving. You stood in long corridors of silence, praying, hoping, sometimes barely holding on. And still you trusted God. You trusted through the invisible. You believed when nothing around you said to. You kept showing up with an inner fire that no one saw, but heaven did. And now that fire is being answered. What the bank found is a reflection of what God always knew, that you were marked for more, that your hands were prepared for overflow.